Hello, everyone. Welcome to our April bonus episode where we are going to speculate wildly about who might run for president 2 years from now. Actually, let's be honest. It's going to be like a year and it's going to start firing up.
A couple of months probably before it gets going, don't you think?
That's true.
We're usually not ones for wild speculation, but, you know, it seemed like a good thing.
Everybody likes it. I was thinking about it in the car, and here's how I feel. I'm just thinking back and thinking about a successful Democratic candidates. Obama, Clinton. I think the most important part is that they can't, like most of the country, not know them. So they get to build from the ground up.
Interesting.
So that means with love, no Biden. Love you. No. No Bernie. No Bernie.
First of all, I just want to address the toddler in the room. The babysitting gods are not smiling fondly on us this week. So Ellen is with me and she wants to read her book. So she's going to sit here and read her book, right? And if you want to read it out loud, you can go in the living room, okay?
No.
Okay. You want to say hi to everybody? Can you say hello?
Hi.
Hi. Can you say your name?
Ellen.
What's your whole name?
Ellen.
Ellen what?
Ellen.
Is it Ellen Pepper?
Ellen,
No.
Ellen Pepper Silver.
No, what is it?
Ellen Charleston Silver.
Ellen Charleston Silver says hello to everybody. Okay.
Love it.
So
I have like 30 million workmen in my house right now. So I'm a little bit undoing my brand new cabinetry to move it down because it's too close to my refrigerator. They did it because of the venting for the duct for the downdraft. But the guy's like, I got to move it anyway. And I'm like, you do. My husband is super mad at me that I'm doing this because I'm taking apart a brand new cabinetry. He's not happy with me, but I think it's the right call in the long run. So
we're just sharing our real lives with everyone today. It's very real here at Nancy Bolton.
Oh, and speaking of real, it's only 10 o'clock. I've already been called a bitch today. Here's a fun story, not related to the 2020 presidential election. I was driving down the street. I see my friend's dog. I see a dog, and it's right in front of my friend's house, and I'm like, shit, I think she has a Rottweiler. So I call her, and I'm like, do you have a Rottweiler? Yes. What color collar? Pink. I'm like, I got your dog. Dog's running from me. So I'm trying to get it down the street, out of the street, two of the busy streets in Paducah. She lives on the corner of them. I'm like, come on. I get it. This guy's like, how you doing? And I ignore him because I'm chasing my friend's dog, and he calls me a bitch. Sorry, Ellen. Wasn't that nice?
You know, I would like to think that doesn't happen in Paducah, but I know that that's silly.
It happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere.
Okay.
Joe Biden. We were asked about Joe Biden while we were at Walsingham, and you talked, Sarah, about the requirement for all Democrats to love him.
Legally required.
And I think he is a very likable person. Look, if 2020 turns out to be Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, this is not a hard question, right? But I agree with you that I think at some point we just need some refreshment of our political figures. And I think particularly after this last cycle, we need the presidential election to look more like the congressional races and the state rep races that are happening all over the country, where we have some new people. And that doesn't mean inexperience necessarily.
Yes.
There's people who haven't spent their lives on the stage.
I just have a new TV.
You have a new TV? That you don't. But I don't know what you're thinking about.
So that's a new TV over there in the living room.
We've had it for a long time, but I'm glad that it feels new to you.
Here's what else I think. So I think it's not just that it's like we need it. I just think it's like the partisanship, it's like the only way to sort of win. Like you have to start fresh with people and they have to see you as outside the party in a way. Yeah. And we got lots of options for that. I don't think most people know who Kristen Gillibrand is. I don't know most people know who Jason Kander is. I think most people know who Kamala Harris is. I do think a lot of people who know who Elizabeth Warren is, unfortunately, and I do like her. I heard some gossip that there was that Terry McAuliffe is thinking about running.
Terry McAuliffe, what do you think about that?
I like Terry McAuliffe, but I'm opposed. He'd be a fine presidential, although we're going to be in this Virginia presidential governor cycle if he's a vice presidential.
Well, so let's talk about this. What are you looking for in the Democrats nominee for president?
A woman or a person of color, preferably both. I know we're about to talk about identity politics, but I think it's important. I really do. And we have so many great female candidates in particular. So that's what I'm looking for, being honest.
So is Kamala Harris the ideal for you then?
I mean, I would like in my perfect world, it's like Harris, Gillibrand, or Gillibrand, Harris. I'm not even picky about the order. I don't care. It's great and awesome.
Do you think that the country can handle 2 women on the ticket? I think so. I think we're ready.
I think so. I think people will be so ready for something new. They'll be on it. And I think they're going to see so many women in November 2018. I was saying last night, I think on Instagram Live about the delegates, like if that is just like the most minuscule of preview of what's coming our way in November 2018, I'm so excited.
I really agree with that. And look, I think what is hard for me is that I really want that on both sides of the aisle.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's going to be challenges to Donald Trump, don't you think? If he's still here, let's just be real about it.
Please.
Yes, you can have this. I'll make this for you.
Can I have that spoon too?
Sure, Ellen. I mean, I think this is a big question. Like, will Donald Trump still be around in 2020? I think the answer is probably yes.
I don't know. I'm leaning towards no. Did you hear this? This is not related to 2020. Did you hear about Stormy Daniels' lawyer? Okay, what's his name?
Michael Avenatti, who is like, he's having he's going to stretch those 15 minutes for himself.
I like it. I'm here for it. I like him. He was saying, okay, and who's the Republican guy that they say Cohen helped pay for the girl's abortion?
Oh, I forgot his name, but I know who you're
Okay. Saying. Well, Michael Cohen is like, yes, but Michael Avenatti was like, but listen, Michael Cohen listed 3 clients, Trump Company, and Sean Hannity. He didn't list that guy. Why didn't he list that guy? Maybe that it wasn't really a payment for that guy. Maybe he was maybe it was a payment for Trump.
Okay, no ma'am.
I know. I was kind of here for his. I don't really think it's wild speculating. I think he knows more than the rest of us do.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Because he's so good at trickling it out. That's why I think.
He's a master at the PR cycle. I think Donald Trump has met his match in Stormy.
I know. That's why I like it so much.
Really interesting. So I don't know what happens with Trump. I do think there will be a primary challenger. Kasich is obviously ramping up for that, or has really never gone out of campaign mode.
That's true.
I mean, I like John Kasich. I like what he tried to do in the last cycle. I think if it had been a smaller field, he could have gotten some traction. I think he's a nice counterpoint to Donald Trump. I like that he's a governor. Like there's a long list of reasons I like John Kasich. I do just wish we had different energy, different perspectives represented, just a different vibe on the Republican side, because for several cycles it's been sort of, here are people that you've seen before. Who's it going to be now?
What if it was like Nikki Haley?
I don't know. I mean, I like Nikki Haley for the most part. I have not liked how she, you know what I really hated? When the UN had the resolution about Israeli settlements and the United States was like out on an island and he held that reception only for countries that were supportive of the United States and like dissed everybody else. I just thought that was not very good diplomacy and kind of petty. I think maybe left to her own devices, she would be a really different person. I mean, I do think she's been trying to ride this line of I'm part of the Trump team. And
that's the thing. I don't think whether he survives, whether he doesn't, I don't think there's any scenario in which you were part of the Trump administration that you're like the fresh face nominee.
No, that's right. I mean, I don't think she can be that person now. And it's too bad.
It's too bad because you got to think she was thinking like, I'll build up my foreign policy chops doing this.
Oh, she totally was. I mean, the only exception to that.
Maybe she's just angling to be like a Secretary of State at some point.
Want to go watch PBS Kids on my phone?
No.
You want to watch something on the TV? Yes. I will turn the TV on for you. This is the A+ parenting that happens when you're trying to do multiple things. Here's the scenario that I maybe disagree with that, only because he's not very visible. I'm all about it if John Huntsman wants to come back from Russia.
He didn't count. I don't count ambassadors as part of the administration. I'm just going to be real clear about that.
You want to come back and say,
no, I don't
hey
count.
guys, for a couple years, can I run things for a while and fix this? I would be 100% on board.
No, I don't count. No. I definitely don't count him. I don't count ambassadors as part of the administration at all. I don't think that's the same thing. I would be all about John Huntsman. I mean, not if it was like Harris, Kamala Harris, or Harris, Gillibrand, or Gillibrand Harris.
would the Democrat if it were John Huntsman versus who on the Democratic side would you be all about John Huntsman? Bernie?
Bernie.
If it's
Yep, Bernie.
Anybody else?
I mean, if it was like somebody I consider corrupt, you know, like if Anthony Weiner got by some miracle of modern politics stage to come back, I would never vote for him. Or somebody who's like, because this brings up a point that has nothing to do with 2020, but I just need to express it. I was thinking about Kanye some more last night and how this is hard for people. I was reading some stuff about Bill Cosby. And Roxane Gay has talked a lot about, like, how do you balance that between the artist and their creation? And I was thinking that this is sort of the same balancing act you do with your party and a candidate that's flawed, right? Anyway, so I was thinking, like, it's almost like the strength of the art versus the terribleness of the crime. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, now that's both things are subjective, obviously.
That's a good formulation.
Yeah, because that's what you're doing, right? I mean, like, if it was like, you know, like Aziz Ansari, Master of None, so good. I don't love that story, but it's not like Bill, you know, like if 10 other women came out and was like, Aziz Ansari, even if it wasn't like he's actually assaulted me, but like I left with this terrible feeling, I'd be like, Master of None's not that good. You know what I mean? It's like this. But like, what would J.K. Rowling have to do? Probably murder some people. Maybe more than one. I'm just being honest about it.
Is that true? Like, I guess here's my one question about that. Is there a variable in this formula, strength of the art, terribleness of the situation, hypocrisy level?
No, maybe.
Because J.K. Rowling has taught so much about values and ethics through her art. Does that factor into the equation?
Yeah, I mean, like if she like
isn't trying to do that, right? Aziz Ansari isn't telling us to.
If she was joining some like authoritarian party that was like that I consider to be like violent and a threat to people, then yeah, because that's totally hypocritical as to what she's writing about. But like, I don't know, if she had some like Dexter situation where she was murdering rapists, I don't know, I might not be that mad. That's Harry Potter. I'm just creating scenarios in my head.
Okay.
But like, what if I'm gonna write that fan fiction. J.K. Rowling is secretly a psychopathic serial killer that goes after rapists. I would read that. We've fled far afield from 2020 speculation. Now I'm speculating about potential crimes J.K. Rowling could do.
Also, I've never had so much trouble with my television in my life. This is where my stress level is right now, trying to do all these things.
Off the rails. We're off the rails today. This is Pantsuit Politics in the wild. That's what this is.
Absolutely.
But Kanye, because here's the thing that really bugs me. To some people, the crime of supporting Trump is like the cardinal sin, and it doesn't matter what you've done or how great your art is otherwise. And I understand if you feel that way. I don't feel that way. Belief systems are not a cardinal sin in my book. Like, your beliefs that you would have to be like a secret white supremacist, which I understand some people feel like anyone who supports Trump is. I get it. Like, I get all that. But like, clearly Kanye West is not a white supremacist.
Well, I think like the idea that if the question is, would you have voted for this person? And the answer is yes. To me, that's like, I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. I didn't. But I'm not going to write you off as
no. I'm not here, and I don't think that's not only because I don't think it's sort of my moral values. I think it's a crappy electoral strategy.
Yes,
I think it turns people off.
It totally does.
So and I feel like, but like Roseanne. So like here was my balance. Like Roseanne supports Trump, but I really love the show, and I thought the new one was kind of funny. And then she was supporting the crazy bananas conspiracy theories, and I was like, yeah, your art's not good enough. I'm not gonna like write you off, but I'm not gonna watch it anymore. Like, we're done here. The conspiracy theories push. That was where I went. You're not funny enough, good enough, or important. Like, your work is not important enough to the culture for me to be like to overcome the conspiracy theory.
I got you.
That was like how my balance act was for with her. I was really just climbing a ladder instead of balancing, but you know what I mean.
So you had a thought from presidential potential nominees to Kanye.
Do I have a what?
You were connecting that to the presidential thing.
Yeah, because I think that's what you do when you were asking me, like, would there be anybody who I would still vote for John Huntsman? Because it's like a same balancing act. Like, how important to me is it that it's a Democrat, which is really important. So you have to be pretty terrible for me to like overcome that part. You know what I mean?
I guess, you know what though? So another question that we got while we were at Walsingham is how big of a difference would it make to have a Trump presidency followed by a really left-leaning president? And my answer to that was probably pretty significant because the legislature has just kind of gone, well, we don't really, we're not really here for much. And so I think you would have another flood of executive orders, right? Redoing all the Obama era stuff, maybe taking it farther depending on who's nominated and how.
Yeah, being a career public servant's about to start being a lot like surfing.
And that's not good for anybody. I mean, that's really, really bad for the country. And so in that way, I think it would make a big difference. I think the right answer, though, is not much. It should matter much more who we elect in Congress. Yeah. I almost wish that the president.
I'm a prisoner of hope. 2018, game-changing Congress. Lots of women. So many women.
I wish the presidency could be a nonpartisan office, though. Like, truly, to me, a John Huntsman would be a very nonpartisan president. He is not a dyed-in-the-wool Republican. He is not aligned with especially the Republican Party of 2018. He worked in the Obama administration as an ambassador. Like, this is a kind of straight down the middle, I'm going to be competent kind of person.
So if it's like an independent, this would be hard though. Like if it was like an independent, do we have any independent female senators? They're all male, aren't they? But let's just imagine that it's like an independent
female version of Angus King.
Yes. So it's a female version of Angus King versus like Joe Biden. I'm probably going to vote for the independent version of Angus King. But then only the problem with why independents can't get anywhere is because then my brain goes, yeah, but what if then Joe Biden loses? Like only if that independent had an actual shot, I guess. You know what I mean? Because that's where you're stuck. Then you're like, well, shit, I elected. It's no good.
I mean, I did that calculus. So that's another kind of the balancing act you were doing a second ago. I did that in this last election. I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. Do I want to vote for Hillary Clinton? Well, I'm in Kentucky where it doesn't really matter because Kentucky is going for Donald Trump either way. We don't have that many electoral college votes. So, okay, I can just vote my conscience and go with the independent candidate who doesn't have a shot. But, I mean, at what point?
Have you ever regretted it when he likes to talk about his vote totals? Have you ever been like, you know what? Shit, I really wish like he would just have to acknowledge Hillary's vote total and stop talking about his, you know what I mean?
I don't think there's a number that would make it matter. I mean, she won the popular vote. So I don't feel like, a handful of us would have pushed it over. I mean, I do feel like I'm part of a handful of Americans who didn't,
I'll tell you what though, those handful of Americans in like Michigan and Wisconsin voting for freaking third-party candidates.
That's a different calculus, right? That's a different calculus than Americans.
One I wish they'd made a little more carefully, but whatever.
Yeah.
Water under the bridge.
I mean, do you think there is any possibility of Hillary Clinton running again? That is a theory that is widely circulating in Kentucky.
No, but I didn't think she'd run last time, but I really don't think she'd do it again.
I don't know why she would put herself through it.
Don't do it, girl. Go spend your money. What about Michelle? Do we think Michelle would run ever?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, I would love her to, but I just don't think she has any taste for it. Except for while we were in DC, they were building a pool. And there's like a part of me that's like, why are you putting in a pool if you're leaving the second Sasha graduates?
Yeah. I don't know.
That.
I mean, I think they'll do political stuff and be involved. And maybe she will, but it's just hard for me to imagine. And look, as much as I respect her, I don't think that's great for the country. When I think about 2 Bushes, 2 Clintons, like, it's not that it is wrong, but if we're trying to get greater representation, right? I think we need some different voices. I also think we need people who didn't go to an Ivy League school.
I don't think Michelle Obama did for undergrad. She went to Harvard Law though, right? No.
I'm not sure. I think it would be amazing to get somebody with military service in again soon. Because it's been a while since we've had that in the commander-in-chief. And I think that's value, especially right now, especially as our understanding of what military conflict is changing. I think that would be helpful. There is a governor, I think the governor of New Mexico, Susanna, I can't remember her last name. I would love to see somebody like her emerge on the Republicans.
I like the governor of Oregon and the governor of Rhode Island.
I love the governor of
Oregon. Their names, but I think they're awesome.
Is it Kate Brown in Oregon?
Kate Brown, Oregon, but I don't remember the Rhode Island lady's name.
Yeah, I think she would be.
A female governor would be like on point.
From either party, I would be really excited about a female governor.
No, I don't want that lady from Arizona.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want her either.
I
think a question for me is whether an independent. So if you have Donald Trump as the Republican nominee again, and then you have Kamala Harris or someone like her on the Democratic side, is there space for an independent in that race? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, probably not. No.
I think it's a shame. I mean, that does not say good things about the Republican Party, especially.
Mm-mm.
Do you think the Democrats are going to have their version of the circus that the Republicans had last time? Are there so many people angling that it's going to be a big crowded?
Sounds like it's going to be a big one. I hope to God. I know everyone on the planet is going to hate me for saying this. I'm not saying it has to be donors, but I wouldn't be mad if it was. If they got, I need a smoke-filled room. Everybody's like, I'm not saying pick, but cut it in half if it's 15. You know what I mean? Narrow it down. Just be like, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work with love. I know that is not a popular opinion, but
I don't know what the healthy balance for a primary is either, because I think with just 2 last time, it got so ugly. Well, I mean, Malik.
God love him. He was there. He showed up.
But what do you do if it got so ugly when it was kind of 1-to-1 combat, and it is such a disaster when they're 16, 17, even 6, 7, 8 serious candidates?
I don't know but the Republican field had been so disaster if Trump hadn't been up there slaughtering them left and right and just taking down their reputations and calling them nicknames. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have been.
I mean, look, it obviously would have been better. I still don't know that a consensus choice can emerge when you have it split up that many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would have been a lot better if it had been a more establishment type candidate, a Rubio, Christie, somebody like that, Kasich, and then a Ted Cruz sort of Yahoo. Sorry. That's not nuanced. Who's definitely more to the right, but is still a respectable person on the right, who's a senator, not Donald Trump, coming from seemingly outer space sometimes. And then maybe somebody who's a little bit more progressive. And then, because the conservative media is so influential, a Mike Huckabee or somebody like that. So you have a nice round set of options, but there are few enough of them that somebody can emerge as a front runner who can work with all those demographics.
Well, my workmen are paging me, so I have to go. Real life pantsuit politics in the wild. Can you hear the hammering?
We will do a more focused episode next month.
Hey, listen, you got to mix it up. People are going to like this. I got a good feeling. Thanks for exploring with us, everybody. Toddlers, kitchen remodels, Kanye, street harassment, and who's going to run 2020. We covered a lot.
Well, we are interested in your thoughts. Who do you want to run? Who do you not want to run? Let's hear it all.
All right. We'll see y'all later. Keep it nuanced.